one.
Yeah.
All right.
Like
Welcome.
I said, look, we had a bit of a slip up. Before the dawn, the darkest hour is the
Yeah.
topic of the month, I guess.
Yeah. They were we're running on the high of anniversary coming up. Everyone was joyful, and but there was a slight complaint that we're not happy that we'll be able to get our old beers back. So they thought they'd give us a little patch, and allow us to toggle our beers. And they thought, while we're patching, let's slip in some bug fixes, shall we? Let's just we got some bug fixes done. They might have been waiting for season 4, but they're just going to slip them in, and here we are. And you know why you're watching this video. You know what's gone on. And as far as all the bugs are concerned, as far as deleting mugs goes, shut up. That's a Barrelvision's official stance for pretending that getting rid of leaf lovers with Q is like a bad thing to do.
Yeah,
Like,
sorry.
shut up.
I still watch that video. I still watch the video.
Obviously, this is this is going to turn into a Reddit review for like some of the stuff, but like there are people complaining about the drinks as well. Like there are a sizable amount. And no one's actually complaining about the C4 cancel. That was purely Axis Chronos. But obviously the meat of the issue is what Harry has highlighted there, being the 2 patches to the core hunt grind speeder uppers.
Yeah, I feel pretty stupid, to be honest. But at the same time, I look at the wording. It still doesn't tell me that that's exactly what happened.
It's because we never actually know how that bug worked.
Yes,
we never
I suppose
did it.
so. But it's just like, only the thing is because I read the patch out during the podcast and we got pretty happy about the toggle option for the beers. But I read all the whole patch, and we just didn't pick up on this really.
Yeah, well, we assumed it might have been addressing that, but it never at any point it just said, "Yeah, we fixed that," but it did. We just didn't know what it meant. But yeah, obviously time has passed.
Yeah, it would have been pointless talking about it on the day. We've got
yeah,
because that was like in the moment. No one had really caught onto it yet. So
it just dropped, I think, didn't it? While we were doing the podcast. But yeah, we're here for our official Barrelvision stance, I guess. I guess for some bits of dramas that really blow up, it feels worth of getting our 2 cents in.
Yeah,
a lot of other YouTubers.
I think the last time we did this, I think it was the last time we really did. I don't think it's going to be a deep Reddit Galactic or whatever. This might be something else entirely. But either way, the last time we did something like this was for the female dwarf debacle, as I called it. But I think this is far more important, because it's far more contemporary. The female dwarf debate actually sprung up because of a meme that someone made. This has come up because of an actual change that has been made, a patch, something that's been changed in the game, and it's also shortly preceding a pretty major event in Deep Rock's lifetime as well, being the 5th anniversary. This is, as far as the game is concerned, this is way more significant, I think. Because it's changed the game in a way that most people, I think it's fair to say, most people aren't happy with. Yeah.
And I think we're going to start off with our thoughts on it. And this is a thing that we'll see a lot if we do go through the Reddit and follow those takes. But people and this is how I put it, are whipping out their dicks a lot with their levels. They're like, I'm a level 2000 or not level 2000. It's actually mostly playtime. I have 2000 hours. I have 1100 hours. I promote all these things. People whip that out whenever they say stuff on these things, and I feel like we should do the same. To be honest with you, I mean, you probably, if you watch our channel, you know.
I think it's relevant on both sides, sort of. It sort of highlights. It's not interesting when you have a very high level player sort of downplaying it, right? But I feel like it's still important that they point that out. But it is interesting when you have very high level players, such as myself, who think the bug should, not that it shouldn't. Who thinks it's a good thing? Who thinks it's bad that it's been removed, basically? And because they have no issues with overclocks as it stands. We've got everything. You have as well. You've got all the weapon overclocks, which is the most important part of the overclock grind. Haven't you got all the cosmetic ones now as well?
Yeah, I'm on mineral
So
canisters
yeah,
now.
so we're both at that point. I've been there for a very long time, and yet that's the thing. This is about principles rather than just like whether or not it benefited us.
Yeah.
Which is why I agree with you in that we might actually have a slightly nuanced take, perhaps, that people might need to hear.
Although, the thing is that like, and I think this is the case for most like opposition, like people that think that this isn't a bad thing, and I think I lean a little bit more on that side. Like, I do not think them patching a bug is a bad thing. It should never be a bug, but I think that's a pretty common consensus that it should just become a feature. But like, yeah, as it stands, it's just old players, a bit like old people in real life, right? We had gotten used to the slow progression, and like I'd never really needed or saw a need for this quick fire like stuff. So we're like talking to the young people. Like back in our day, we just got like 6 to 9 a week, and we suck it up. Yeah, and like, but now all this new generation of youngins are used to getting a lot more in a lot quicker amount of time, and that's where the divide really is. It is it is the long-term players kind of battling against the new players, and the new players also battling against like Ghost Ship. That's really the current like climate of this debate. And I think
do you think it's too black and white to ask if we're on Ghost Ship's side or not? Or do you think it's not right to really view it that way?
I think we are more on Ghost Ship's side than I think most people, but well, I'm not sucking their dick in that. Like,
we're on Ghost Ship's side in the sense that we will not. In fact, we will condemn people harassing them. Obviously, especially DMing them.
Everyone says that they condemn harassment, yet clearly some people are out there harassing. So someone's fucking lying through their teeth. But yeah, it is the fact that basically, I think Harry might be different. I don't think patching a bug is in any way an issue. It patched a bug, right? But then the argument isn't that they patched a bug. It's that, you know, it's core progression.
It's not what you did, son. It's who you did it to. That's from John Wick. That's the guy steals his car and kills his dog, and he's just like, oh, why does it matter? You know, it's just some guy. It's just like, no, it's not just some guy. It's John Wick. In this case, John Wick is the promotion resetting core hunt bug.
The core hunt was the dog, and the fan base was John Wick.
Yeah, basically.
and they killed the wrong dog. And yeah, but I think what it is at this point in time is what they do from now on, because they are not going to re-add the bug, right? Like, they're not going to go back and add in the bug.
That's the part that I agree on. I mean, I agree with removing bugs in general, and it's sort of how I always saw it. I see it. Yeah. I assumed that this was going to be a small meteor situation, right? Because small meteor was a bug. It got removed because it was a bug. And it got removed because it was a bug that was highly publicized, mind you, by the community, right? Everyone was talking about small meteor because it was very significant. Yeah, exactly. So they picked up on it and quashed it, as they should, for a bug. But it was also there was a lot of requests to bring it back, and they immediately saw an opportunity for it to become a feature. So they did exactly that.
It's basically the
thing is, the first half of the situation is actually pretty much the same as small meteor. Where it becomes different is that they didn't remove it and immediately see a solution, because there's actually I've forgotten the word. I guess a inconsistency of opinion at Ghost Ship on the matter. This is something that not enough people know, and I would want to really push out there, right? They have been talking about assignments for like ever, right? Like constantly for like ever, as far as they've like been in the game, and especially this thing I think has really sparked the debate. It comes down to like, I think this is the misinformation going on. Part of Ghost Ship does want to increase the the core hunt grind. Like a good chunk of the devs. You actually want to lessen the grind. Make it easier.
They want to give you more cores in whatever way, shape, or form. Basically, I think people need to get in their head that Ghost Ship is a group of people, not a company. They are literally, they talk to each other, like just speak their opinions, it seems, like with how they feel about this stuff. And it comes to the point that there must be a somewhat equal thing, or the way that they determine whether or not they're going to add it to the game. There's must be maybe a bar amount of people that need to agree with it, but some people just don't. So, some people in Ghost Ship, they do not believe in speeding up the core hunt. What it is fine, and others don't.
I think there's a point that needs to be made about that, which is the reason why the core hunt is the reason why the I guess you could call it the core hunt if you want, but the Matrix core grind, the reason it's the way it is to increase player retention over a very long period of time. Unfortunately, I think that's why people at Ghost Ship are saying it's fine, because they understand the original business principle behind it. I don't think anyone can really believe that it's truly that's an objectively fun mechanic, right?
Yeah, but the thing is,
it's business, but the problem is, it's also a thing that's actually turned people off from the game, realizing that there's this year-long grind. Yeah. That you have to take part in, that you have to do something weekly for. It's turned people off of the game. And that's another argument that you can bring in as to why there needs to be some lessening of the grind.
Yeah, and I feel like this may be something
more control over it, I mean, really. It's not making the grind quicker, it's actually the element of control that was the most pleasant aspect of this.
If anything, if they wanted to, they could slow down the grind, but as long as it depends on the amount you play, people would be happy about it.
It's the very idea that the last overclock you get could be the one that you were looking for, Well,
yeah,
that really gets on people's nerves, and I think rightly so. I'm being honest.
Yeah, but it is the fact that if you get all the cores in a week and you don't get what you want, you can't get it in that week, right? You have to wait until next week, and then you'll maybe get it. That's the whole thing, I think, and that's why there is a lot of solutions to this. But it's just I don't know. I think what the community needs to understand, and obviously is what we're fighting for, is that we need to convince Ghost Ship that this is something, right? Well, not even Ghost Ship, just the people in Ghost Ship. Yeah, the people in Ghost Ship, we need to help convince the side that doesn't want to speed up the grind that they should. That is what the community's goal is. Because if the community as a whole just generally says, just please, please, they can't not do it. Right, especially since half of the team is fighting for it as well. It's not like the team as a whole is no. Unlike the fifth class, the water biome, stuff like that, where the entire team is a pretty hard. We're not doing that, right?
Well, that's not necessarily true, though, is it? We don't actually know that. We just know that. Maybe. I think that is probably true, but I don't know if that means that everyone at Ghost Ship believes that. I think that just means that the people at the top obviously believe that, and it's one of their tenets. It's something they're not going to let go of, even if newer employees don't necessarily agree with it. This is different in that, because we know, actually, I don't think debates about a new class are happening at Ghost Ship, really.
No.
So that's the difference.
Not.
Because they're probably not allowed. If you bring it up, you take taken out back and shot. That's my classic joke. But this is different. They're talking about it. We know that.
My issue with them then comes in that they have to solve it by season 4. Mm-hmm. Either way, they have to either come out at season 4, and maybe even the anniversary if they want to be quick about it. But by season 4, I think they have to come out and say either as it is will always be how it is, or we have had enough. We're putting our foot down. This is it. Or they need to just hurry up and fucking give people what they want, right?
I think the arguments in... So, I feel like I'm having a sort of bit of trouble sort of very, concisely labelling the two sides. I guess, so, if we put it down to for and against, then I guess it's just the idea of for the bug or against the bug. and before the bug is for the bug becoming a feature as well. So it's just for and against. The arguments for,
I think,
definitely outweigh the arguments against.
yeah, but I do think it's worth mentioning. There are 2 bugs. One of them, I think even the people that want it to be added to the game realize it's unreasonable. The one where you can make every other mission a core hunt mission was too much. And people like even they're like, no, fuck that noise. That should have been patched.
Yeah,
but
I don't even know what that is.
It was literally basically you do the first mission of the core hunt, get your core, stop the mission, do like the weaker priority, do the first mission of that, stop that, load up the core hunt again, and you can get the core hunt, and you rinse repeat.
Yeah,
you literally just
all right,
yeah,
good.
that was something where people could just fucking speed run it basically. But I think generally what everyone reasonable people like to kind of use, and is the reasonable one, promotions giving you cores in some way, shape, or form, unlocking the ability to get more, is the idea here, right? That's the bug people are fighting for, at least the reasonable people.
Yeah, and I think there's an obvious reason why. And I think honestly, this whole debate, and particularly the solution, is going to circle back round to promotions, and I'm going to explain why. Basically, there's 2 types of infinite assignments in Deep Rock. There's the weekly ones, and there's the promotions. You've got 2 weekly assignments. You've got up to 4 different promotion assignments you can get. But the difference is the weekly ones reset weekly. The promotion assignments can occur less frequently, but they're also technically the type of assignment you have the most control over acquiring as something to do. There's already immediately an element of control over that assignment that's in place. And that's why this worked for people in making the grind just feel so much less oppressive, I guess. It's tied to promotions, and that's the thing that we need to I think that's very, very true. Promotions are the core of this.
I think if we could easily find the post, then we would, but I think it would be hard to find it now. But last night I saw a post where basically saying this bug isn't only affecting core hunts, it is affecting promotions. Like in this person's mind, and I think quite a few others as well, promotions were more valuable due to this glitch. They were more something you would want to do because you knew you'd get cores.
Exactly, instead of just having to pay for promotion, and you have the divide. A blank matrix core. First of all, a blank matrix core is not credits or minerals. I thought about this idea. Oh, what if it gave you what if it gave you a mineral canister? It's just like, well, no, you have to pay minerals to get the promotion. Or what if it was directly a weapon overclock or cosmetic overclock? Well, you've got to pay minerals and credits to open those. I think I think the reason why, for me, if I were to provide a solution, it comes down to just giving you a blank core for every promotion, is because even if that's too simple, it's not. I wouldn't say flawless. I just mean as like that can only be better. I don't think there's anything wrong with that solution, is what I'm saying. It can only be improved upon, in my opinion.
I entirely agree. The only issue is, and this isn't an issue, I think that is the solution we're looking at. I think realistically that is what we're going to be getting. But what people want, they're taking a mile because they think they can get an inch. People want even more control over what they get now as well, right? People aren't just sick of the lack of core hunts and or the lack of cores they're getting, but also the lack of being able to get your hands on what you want, right? And I've seen some people posit some ideas. Some of them I think is more reasonable, some not. In that when you promote, I think maybe even I posted this one, but I think other people would have as well. When you promote, you get an overclock for the character you just promoted.
Yeah, see, that's a good one.
Therefore, you are more likely to get stuff for the character you play the most, right? Logic there, right? What I have seen someone posit is you get an overclock for the weapon you were using when you promote.
Yeah, that's too far.
And that's what I mean. It's people like that, and I say people. This was a person. I don't even know how well receptive it was, but it's them trying to take a mile with this inch. And
yeah, people don't understand part of the RNG is it's not just to increase player retention, but it is also to get you to
use other things,
differentiate your experience with the game.
That too, yeah.
To encourage you to do that, and if you get Fat Boy straight away, the guy who wanted Fat Boys like for his whole life, or he heard about it. That's all he wants. He's got it now. He might actually get bored of it quite quickly. Although I think that's a bit of a weird argument. But still, I'm just saying that is one of the points of the RNG. It's both for player retention, but also to help players have a more diverse experience with the game.
Yeah.
Certainly. But yeah.
And while I can't deny that it's a little bit annoying, because if I recall, sometimes when the new secondaries came out, it did take me a while to get some of the ones I wanted, like the overclocks, which I can remember because I don't remember the old grind anymore. It's still, in the end of the day, it's deep rock, and it's not that bad without a single overclock that you want, right? Obviously, I get it. You want to use the thing you want to use, but you can still use the weapon, you can still use the mods, and and you would still use whatever overclock you do get for it. And if you're really unlucky, you don't get any, that's rip. But maybe try out other weapons until you do get those overclocks. And I think that may be our veteran copium that we just had to suck on for the tailpipe for all the game's lifespan. At least that's what I think some people are framing it as, right? The veterans, they suck it up basically, and
well, they are
it's true.
Suck-ups, you mean?
Yeah, the veterans.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a lot of fishing through our content to realise we are not suck-ups.
Yeah, we think there are a lot of things wrong with how they're going about this game, and I, honest to God, do not think this patch is anywhere close to the reason. This patch was, I wouldn't even say a misstep. It was a step into an unknown path.
I agree. Because people need to understand. I guess it almost strikes me as odd that people aren't assuming this will come back as a feature. The only reason I'm not is because we know that there are people at Ghost Ship who disagree with that idea. But at the same time, I feel I don't understand why most of the community who are more in the dark than us aren't thinking of this as a small meteor situation. It's always going to get squashed as a bug before it comes back.
Yeah.
It's not. It was never going to smoothly transition, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, because even as mentioned, Johan and Jacob. So they claim they're on our side. They want the overclock grind to be a bit faster, or at least just different.
I'd be surprised if Jacob was on the community side, considering he's the community manager. That means he sees the community more than anyone else.
Well, yeah, I think that's why he has his DMs muted, because he's just had enough. They basically say they're on our side, but they still, when asked about those bugs, they were like that it destroyed the grind as we intended, basically. It's just the fact that they did not intend it to work that way. Therefore, it's a bug. Therefore, they patched it. Whether or not they need to change the way they intend on, you earning overclocks, that's what the community needs to be focusing on right now. In no way, shape, or form it's just, I don't know. It's a sticky situation because no good reason. It's not much is going to change from this. I think people are still going to play the game a lot, especially since the anniversary is coming up, and all that stuff. I don't think much is going to come of this other than current anger, and maybe some even if they don't re-add it as a feature, it will just kind of go back in history as to the period of time where you could earn a lot of cores.
Yeah. I do think because like we've sort of agreed upon, is sort of the main impetus for the I wouldn't say the main impetus for the anger, but the main impetus for why people embrace the bug is the element of control that it gave them. And you look at everything that Ghost Ship have already done in regards to the overclock grind. It's almost like they go to lengths to limit the control, even when they did something to alleviate it, which is when that was in Season 2. They changed the Forge Mastery. Forge Mastery being whenever you have forged 5 things, you get another one, and it cycles. It alternates between a weapon overclock and a cosmetic overclock. Once you got them, alternates between a blank core and a mineral canister. They changed it so that you could pick, when you got that cosmetic or weapon overclock, you could pick between 2 classes. They had an opportunity there, right, to do the obvious thing, which was just to straight up make it so you pick out of the 4 classes, right? And I don't I think that wouldn't actually change the speed of the grind, obviously, but that would lean into what people want. So you can do that, and you can combine that with getting a blank on promotion instead of it being like, oh, you get a weapon overclock for your class on promotion. You get the blank on promotion, but you also have more choice with the Force Mastery, like you already should have done. Those two things might actually could combine to create a more concise solution, I think. Maybe. I think I'm right about the Forge Mastery thing, though. The Forge Mastery you should be able to pick between the 4 classes. It's weird that it randomizes between 2 that you can choose from.
It is weird, but that's what I mean, though. They really do have a pretty firm
obsession with RNG.
Well, no, I don't think it's an obsession with RNG, but just a firm stranglehold on how much control you have over your overclocks, right? Like, and they were not willing to give you like any more than those 2 options, basically.
Yeah.
Like, literally, they could have given you 3, and that's a pretty normal thing where they were like, no, that's too much. Like, they really have like a line drawn somewhere on how many overclocks you can get and how much control you have in getting them. And that is something that we've never heard them justify.
Yeah. Do you think this situation calls for them to actually?
I think
it?
I think no matter how they come out of this, they need to come to a conclusion and voice it with this situation. Not now. Let them, I mean, as mentioned, I think they should do the anniversary, but then going into season 4, it's because I read the word patch. Season 4, they need to have vocally said, this is our stance on the, core grind. It may change because we're Ghost Ship and we don't like cementing anything. We like changing things. But as it stands, this is how we feel about it, and here's why. And get that out there, basically.
Do you think? I think they might have already missed the timing for this because the anniversary is in less than a week, or the anniversary stream. Actually, the anniversary is today. Right? I think. It's 28th. Sorry. But what was I going to say?
Lord knows.
Oh God, no, oh, I forgot. The anniversary stream is actually only one day after the actual anniversary day. To be fair, I forgot that February is a short month for no good reason.
Right.
And I really have forgotten what I was going to say. They need to come out and say that they're discussing it very publicly. They need to do that as well before the actual conclusion. They need to downplay. They need to be like, "Oh, you guys, we need you guys to know that we are discussing this internally, and that." Do you think they should state that more people lean towards 4, or do you think they should just say that they're talking about it because? People really need to know that. In
all fairness,
this could be that, but this won't be that. This won't be that popular, right? We're not going to get as much traction as a dev post, but we're still telling you that they are talking about it.
And they have been for a while, even before this patch. But this patch, it is stirring up the fan base in a way that the people, while they're talking about it, could use. As long as us, the fan base, give them the right kind of ammunition, right? I think the veteran cucks should shut their mouths and because they're saying it's fine as it is never a good thing. It stagnates games. But also I think the new people that don't know what they're talking about should also shut up. Like brand new people that have just started getting overclocks and or they've used this bug for their entire lifespan and they're not used to the normal grind. Like I don't know. It's just you've got to have the right people give the right kind of ammunition to get the right kind of result. Really.
Revolt. You said revolt. Well, maybe
a little bit. I mean, hell.
Honestly, no. The right kind of revolt is not an inappropriate term here. Because we need the right kind of revolt. As in, it needs to not. It's going to be one in essence, but it needs to not feel like one. But I think there is cause to. I don't want to use the word clap back, but there is cause to provide, first of all, negative feedback in the sense of we need them to know that people want this change reverted in some capacity, or they're not happy with the removal of this feature. But we also need the positive feedback of the actual solutions being given, and we also need to agree on a solution.
Yeah,
Arguably.
that's the thing.
Well, I don't know if we do actually. Actually, I don't know if we do because the chance of them just directly adapting the community solution isn't necessarily very high. So if everyone agrees on one and it doesn't end up being that,
I don't think
might
we
not be
need to
beneficial.
agree on a solution.
No.
We just need to agree on what the problem is.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's really what it comes down to. And it's and I think the problem is, and obviously people can agree and disagree, but if generally everyone agrees that the issue is that you cannot earn more cores by playing more. You can't. That like you can play literally for 24 hours, you don't sleep for an entire week, and you cannot earn more than 6 like weapon overclocks, right? Like if you still need them, like no matter what. And that was what this bug solved. Even if you didn't use the really fucking hacky cheaty one with every other, if you just did the promotion one, you could earn more than that by playing a lot and promoting a lot, right? And I think that is what people loved about it, and that's why people use the bug regularly. Even people that probably didn't even realize they were using the bug. But yeah, it is. That's the issue, I think. And I feel like we need to separate that from the people that want more control over like the core hunt, because I don't think that's an issue. I think the RNG is an important part of it, but I do think you should be able to get more to increase your RNG chance by playing a lot more.
Yeah,
I think that is a fair thing.
I agree with that, but then you do run into, I would say, the roadblock in that there's a reason why before this the overclock grind was completely time locked. There's a reason why you couldn't just play as much, like play to get more. It's because the whole system was built from the ground up on the principle of that it was time locked.
Though, and it's not an issue. It's just this is the thing I thought about earlier, but I forgot to mention. They don't need to time lock assignments, a core hunt anymore. They don't need to. Because the only reason they had it in the game was because that was the only reason to keep coming back in between like the event, like updates, right? But that's not true anymore. The season pass exists. The season pass is a good enough reason to come back and play and do your daily assignments. Like you do not need to lock the like core hunt, like core obtaining behind a time wall anymore, because it's not the only source of returning like content. Like literally because of seasons and because of season pass, there isn't a need to time lock it. At least not hard. Like a hard time lock is not needed. A time efficiency, like it is more efficient to come on every week, that's fine, right? But like if you want to, and if you do, and a lot of people do, especially some of our viewers, they don't stop playing, right? Like Nathaniel and like I think Monkey, they just play like animals. Like they they should be able to get more if they put in more time, but the most efficient way would still be coming back every week. And something like that would yeah. My point is, they shouldn't be fighting for the hard lock anymore because it's not needed. The old justification, and this is the same with all the old players defending it, the way the game used to be, it was fine because that is true. It was the only thing the game had to bring you back every week, but it's not true anymore. It's not true
now that people are being brought back
with
every
seasons.
day.
And with holiday events bringing you there regularly and stuff, you do not need weapon overclocks to keep you playing anymore. There is more to the game than that. And I think that is what Ghost Ship needs to come to terms with, if they haven't already. That system...
There's a chance that their system is outdated because of the decisions that they've made, by the way.
Yeah.
It didn't just become dated over time. It's because of the changes that were made, or the systems that were introduced.
Because they've added more systems to bring people back to the game, the overclock isn't the only way to do it. Therefore, you can loosen up a little bit.
There's also the fact that every time a season changes, a lot of cosmetics get added to the overclock pool, right? Every time new weapons are introduced, more weapon overclocks get added, and there's at least a 90% chance that we are both going to get new overclocks straight up for pre-existing weapons and new weapons eventually. Both of which will obviously bring more weapon overclocks. The grind is going to get bigger. It gets exponentially bigger every season in essence, with what gets added retroactively from
Yeah.
the performance pass, but it will also get bigger directly when we get more overclocks and probably even new weapons down
And
the
I
line.
think that is the thing. Like, if they don't add a light play more to earn more method in it, like I'm really fond of this idea, but
it justifies the addition of more overclocks if they alleviate the grind.
yeah,
It makes it more a better
that's the thing.
idea, you know?
Yeah, if season 4 does give us more overclocks, them also adding get a core per assignment, like per promotion, would also make sense, right? That would be like a pretty cool 1-2 kind of ratio thing.
Well, that's how I saw it. Whenever that gets whenever we get more overclocks, because I think we're gonna get those. Yeah, we are. I think, but it's like
They have
that
overclocks
season,
that they had like in the works a while ago that they've yet to find a place to put them in. So we can expect very much legitimately expect to see them either next season or the season after, like reasonably.
If they could get the ones that they've been working on in season 4, not even as like the main thing, that would be pretty commendable.
Yeah.
Unless they have to, unless they actually there's good reason for them to use it almost as a fallback, which I wouldn't necessarily damn them for. But either way, it would be perfect pairing to add new overclocks as well as a system to alleviate the grind. That it makes perfect sense, and I think it would be a very commendable move on their part. They just need, if that's what they're doing, and I think is what they should be doing, they need to be open about it. And there's an issue. I wouldn't say. I guess there's an issue of communication, right?
There is.
But what do they need to say? We hear you? I feel like that's obvious, though.
Yeah, no, but it is a thing that because I've always thought that Ghost Ship has been they're very communicative with the fan base, but recently,
they're
and
more
this will hurt to hear,
they're not communicative on a good frequency.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
this will hurt to hear, but Overwatch is Blizzard. Right, Blizzard, the fucking terrible ass company. They have been fucking immaculate at talking to the player base and saying what they're going on, what's their team line, what's the next thing.
Enemy.
What I'm saying is it is bad when I see Blizzard communicating better than Ghost Ship, and that is the thing. Now the issue is that obviously like Ghost Ship is streaming every week, right? They got Jacob and Johan like there answering questions and interacting and stuff like that.
Yeah, but on average, how many people would you say tune into the stream?
There was 200 and something people.
There's an average of about 2,000 people active on Reddit at any given time. It's obviously
it's a very small percentage.
Most people are not watching those streams.
No, it is not getting out into the broad thing at all. But it is also the fact that those streams, they don't really say anything. Right? They say what they like don't like or what they did in the past or like answer questions like that, right? But like the thing, and this is what the Blizzard do, they are like, here's are the things we're aiming for in the future. Like we see your issues with the competitive, here's some of our solutions, what we're trying to figure out. Like we hear you on those characters, here's what we're doing with those characters later down in the line.
There's a level of communication that's missing from this patch. There's no. There should be an acknowledgement of it in there. There's a weird lack of acknowledgement of the significance of this fix, and that strikes me odd. I know they're not that tone deaf. They knew that people were aware of this and actually liked it. So
and it is a fact that Ghost Ship should have come out with a statement by now, talking about their side of this. And
statement sounds a bit like legal issues. I just mean there should have been a Steam post and / Reddit, link to it as well.
Reddit pin, right? And I'm talking about pin. Their comment of this shouldn't be buried in a comment of some other thing, like it was in the in the female dwarf debate. I mean, luckily that comment got like really popular and was very visible on that. But they should be incredibly upfront and like top page, like top search, like this is our our side of this, and they would come out and say that like as a team we are talking about the pros and cons, and then they don't leave it there because that's what they're doing on the stream. They say we're talking about it and they leave it there. No, they need to then say both sides, right? They need to say we or like, because it's like Jacob Johan, they'll be commenting on like their side, and it's like I am fighting this side, and I have other people that we both all think this. But then the other side, they think this, and they should actively tell the community their conversations. Basically, right? They shouldn't leave. We're talking about it, and then hide behind a shroud, a cover. They should say we're talking about it, and here's what we're saying. Right? That is communication. Yeah. And I don't see why they don't do that, other than the fact that they don't want to give things away. Right, like for season content, I understand more. Like obviously, as mentioned, Blizzard, they don't give a shit. They tell you a while in advance what they're doing next season. But like Ghost Ship, they want to keep it behind a shroud, wait until spoiler season. That's fair enough, right? But
makes sense. Makes more sense for like I don't believe that they're not crunching people who are working on Overwatch, right?
Yeah, to be honest with you, probably.
And hard planning. I don't think it probably suits a crunchless company more, right?
Yeah,
not hard planning. I feel like it makes sense that they don't hard plan, because that means but for the game's health, they should, to an extent. We both agreed that they should force themselves into 6-month seasons, but despite the fact that they don't crunch, and you keep that, you just get out the door whatever you can. But you still could keep working the same way you have been. That was our idea. And I think it makes a lot of sense. But you're going to say something.
It's just the fact that, a Ghost Ship, the fact that they haven't come out openly, like obviously in the streams, they have given their answers, but no one's going to fucking find that, exactly. Right? And that answer is not good enough.
The truth is they're letting it spiral at the moment, and that's bad.
Yeah, if they come in here, they put a pin in it, basically telling everyone in the Reddit, which is it's the vocal part of the community, and Discord, basically saying, we're talking about it. Here's our pros. Here's our cons. We'd like to hear your thoughts on that, and stuff like that, right? Because as it stands, the community is strawmanning itself, and they're like arguing with each other. And they may not be arguing the right kind of things. Like, I imagine anything that the devs have to say is a lot more valuable. Therefore, if they give us that, and then we can work off that, we may be able to help them in our vast numbers, right? But no, they're hiding behind their covers. They're talking their little talk, so we have no fucking clue what they're like coming up with, right? Meanwhile, the entire fan base is eating itself alive over their silence, right? And that is the issue with this. Not that they patched the bug, not inherently what the bug is, but this exposes a lack of communication, in that they need to be more upfront with their goal. Like, if they released this patch with, and like under the patch notes, like, we are aware that people like this bug, we are considering making it into a feature. If they literally added that, we would not be tearing each other apart. That would be it.
And that's true as well. Like, as in, those words would be accurate to the truth of the situation. It's just that so many people don't know. They are, and people will take that. People will take that as a promise, right? Which is obviously an issue. So maybe they might want to be a lot more lighthearted. Like, they might be maybe not considering adding it, but like we are. Maybe what they will say currently. We are talking about the core grind as a whole. We're debating the value of this bug or whatever, or the pros and cons of this becoming a feature, something.
Yeah, something along those lines, right? Which is true. That would have squelched the Reddit side of things.
That's not right. Not squelch. That's not the right word. Squelch.
Sure, it is.
I know what you mean, but it's not correct at all. It sounds ridiculous.
It would have absolutely fucking put a shotgun to the back of the head of the Reddit arguments. Obviously, people would have still had an issue with it, right? People still wouldn't have been happy that they patched it, but they wouldn't feel hopeless about it. They wouldn't feel lost. They wouldn't feel betrayed, right? Because some people feel betrayed.
Yeah, but that's excessive. It's an excessive emotion to feel in regards to a game. That's the truth.
I don't know if you probably might not be able to find it, but I'm pretty sure a Reddit post was like, I don't know, like he literally he depicted it as like he like they removed a feature he loved from a dev that he loved. So he was like, it's a real shame. Like, basically, like, they betrayed him, and what they did to him was like that crossed the line for him. Like, he had so much faith in them, and they betrayed him. Like, depicting it like that is fucking wild, but it's also like not that surprising. Yeah, that's a comment.
Oh dear. Yeah, people are they're saying things. They're saying things
Yeah.
for sure. There was something that I saw that I wanted to sort of basically paraphrase, because I can't quote it. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember the point that someone made that I just thought was kind of dumb. Unfortunately, I didn't save it. I can't quite remember what it was. That's very useful.
Yeah. But no, yeah, it's just this has exposed a lot of issues with the game, not just in the game, but also them as a team. And it's really, really, really depressing that this all occurred because they were helping the community. Because they were like, here is the toggle drink feature that you guys wanted. Like, it was like, here, you guys wanted this, we're gonna give it to you. And then we spat in their face. Absolutely fucking just all over them. And it's really fucking sad. But also, it's not as surprising, in all fairness. The fact that they did think they could just patch this stuff and kind of get away with it is also a bit weird. So, I don't know. It's bad on everyone's side, to be honest with you. I think this is honestly like one of the worst things that has ever happened to Deep Rock generally, right? And that sounds really cringe to say. I don't know about you, cringe area, but like this has made everyone look bad. And yeah, I mean, what's all this?
Someone thinks they figured out what's dividing the debate. I think
Everyone
the divide
does.
is whether, divide is whether that second part. Oh, hold on, we need to actually read what he said. The vast majority, from what I've seen, agrees that working toward getting overclocked is a good and fun thing. Currently, that involves two parts: playing to directly get the cores via assignment or deep dive, and waiting for the reset allow us to do the first part again. So the second part is considered work. In the context of working towards getting overclocks. There are those who think it's time spent. Oh, those think it's time spent and rewarded for it. Then there are those who think it's time that's separate, time that isn't a part of the system, but rather pauses between the system. They think that the time isn't work, but rather a time when you're not allowed to work towards the goal. The problem is that's true. In the context of the overclock grind, the wait is not part of the grind. It's just putting a cap on it.
Yeah, but I think if you can't play the game without trying to get overclocks, what do you think is going to occur when you get all the overclocks?
Yeah.
Right?
That's not a bad point.
What do you think that kind of mindset is going to do to a player? The second they get their overclocks, they're going to get their special powder, their fat boys that they've wanted this whole time, use it for a couple games while trying to get other overclocks, and then they're going to stop playing. Right? Because they were fundamentally mindset themselves out of having fun just playing the game. And while I can't deny that obviously gaming and getting those things is rewarding, you have to be able to play the game without that, or you would not have fun. And I definitely went through that when I was doing the overclock grind.
Hold on, Tyler. Do you think that's part of it, though? Do you think that's part of why it's done the way it is, so that you don't get hooked on it, and it becomes the only reason that you play? See, I don't like that I just came up with that, because that's actually a good argument against, unfortunately. And I'm for. That's the thing.
Well, that's healthy. God forbid you're healthy. What was that?
No, it's humour. I said rock and stones, and they didn't say it back.
Yeah. Well, that's because he's making reference to the post that I think I saw, because someone did do that.
I'm trying to make it law friendly. Why shouldn't promotions update your weekly core hunt? It's overtime after. Yeah, I do like the overtime idea, actually, to be honest. But it's kind of weird. Imagine these lines of control. It's not really helpful. Oh, okay. Someone's asking. They genuinely don't understand. I genuinely don't understand why the majority of people I'm seeing post here have a massive issue with the removal of the OC exploit, going as far to post super long paragraphs about it. We have 3 chances of getting blank cores, weapon cores, and cosmetic cores. Being able to redo the core hunt was a bug, an exploit that wasn't supposed to be in the game. This doesn't take anything away from the game is the same. We just don't get to redo core hunts when we pro anymore, so it's a big deal. Okay, so this guy's a little bit dense because something has been removed, and he basically thinks it hasn't been. He just didn't see he didn't see that there was anything there, even though there definitely was, and that's the problem.
If this glitch was still like time limited, right? If this glitch was just that instead of doing the overclock once a week, you could do it twice a week, it wouldn't matter, right? It just comes down to the issue that you can break away from the hard cap each week. That is why it's important, and why everyone has such a big issue with it. Which obviously this guy didn't get.
Just bolster the assignment, right?
It wouldn't change anything.
You don't think?
No, and because literally, as mentioned, the issue is just that no matter how much you play, you will only get that number per week.
Exactly. So the issue is actually a disparity of principles between the community and Ghost Ship.
You could do those missions.
So problematic.
Yeah, you could do those 9 missions, being the weekly like deep dives and the assignment, and then go, and you would get just as many cores as someone that literally never stopped playing the entire week.
Whoa, this guy's a bit stupid. Why else do you play games except for a reward of some sort? I mean, unless they acknowledge, unless they acknowledge that fun as a reward, they might be. I don't know. I've already done everything. I've never got this idea that we should play a game forever. Well, this guy's also kind of stupid. You've extracted your enjoyment out of it, and presumably you've gotten a good few hundred, maybe 1,000 hours out of it. It seems like a decent time to find something new. I mean, this could spin off into something entirely different in terms of my big problems with Deep Rock. It's a game that doesn't end. It's okay that a game has given you like 100 hours if it's over, But Deep Rock is like in a lot of ways constructed to keep you playing forever. But there are soft caps on that when it doesn't have to be.
There's no reason not to play forever. Like you're going to be having just as much fun at the first hour than the 70,000th, right? Except probably not the first hour because you don't have much to do.
Have you even read one of these posts you're talking about? They make it abundantly clear what the perceived problem is. If you don't agree, that's fine, but this post is redundant. I have, and I still don't understand because it doesn't make any sense. This person, I guess they just don't get it. But someone like this. Posted an interesting point. People are impatient, they want to collect everything as fast as possible, not actually enjoy the game because it's a game. I'm seeing that point I just made about how they maybe don't want people to get hooked in the overclock grind. This is someone like corroborating that. There are people who take that side. And
I think the issue
even though I'm for, that's still a position that I hold now, I think.
Yeah, the issue is I would argue that you should be able to play the game without doing the overclock grind. However, overclocks are far too big of part of what makes the game fun and engaging to play that not having them will make the game less fun, right? You are playing a less fun game when you do not have the overclock you want, right? That is a fact. So until you get that, you will be having to fucking suffer, right? And why would you play the game more than you need to if you're not having as much fun as you can, right? That's why people stop playing when they've got their weekly stuff done. Why would you at that point? You don't get any more stuff that would make the game more fun, like being overclocks. And then I imagine quite a few people have then been like, why do I play this game at all? And then didn't come back for the weeklies. And it is a really annoyingly nuanced problem, and that is why I am by no means surprised they're struggling as hell and they're constantly talking about it, right? There are so many angles to this, and it's such a meaty topic, and I'm not surprised it's consumed the entire fan base, and them and deep Ghost Ship. It's weird as hell.
Oh, it's what makes it showing a really ugly side of this community.
Yeah,
the complete outcry has been insufferable, to say the least, as if you need every single OC to enjoy the game. Because that is what people are essentially implying when they say, oh, it takes 6 months, yada yada. When in reality, you'll probably have more than decent enough OC for every class within a few weeks. That problem would be completely downplayed if people could choose, actually, wouldn't it? Right? You talked about how the game is less fun when you don't have the overclocks you want. What do you mean you can?
Right, you take you will get if you play for let's say a month, you will have an overclock for basically every gun, right? Generally, I mean, you might be kind of fucked and not have one for the coil gun, but you probably have 3 on the Thunderhead to make up for it, right? You will get enough, for all of them in an amount of time. Because you get to pick between 3 on the core hunt, and obviously it'll be very annoying if you don't get your main often. But I think that is where the twofer on the fucking the the forge comes in. Like that's like your extra backup, thing. Like here, have this extra choice just in case. Like,
what do you think? What do you think it would do if, like, the first time someone promotes, they got to just choose one, just outright, any of them out of the whole selection?
I think that would be a lot worse for the game.
I thought you might say that.
Because let's be realistic, a lot of these people, and they've exposed themselves as such, only really play the game to get that one overclock. They're like constantly just playing, struggling, trying to get special powder. And I doubt that there's a universe where giving them it immediately will encourage them and make them play more, but more likely to, I've got what I wanted, now I'm going to stop. I think with maybe a bit of both, but I don't know. I'm pretty down for, at the very least, whenever you promote, you get a core. But I'm quite down for a core on the character you promoted, because that will alleviate the annoyance of not getting cores for the character you main. Right? If you want more cores for your engineer and you're not getting enough in the things and it's annoying you, as long as you keep playing them, you will get overclocks for them. I think that makes sense for me. And it's just the same with cosmetics. Obviously, once you move into that, you play more, you'll get better cosmetics for that character, and you'll kind of that makes sense to me. But that even then, that might be a step too far. But I think that would be my solution for it.
I like there's still people just carrying on as normal.
Yeah, people just yeah. Oh yeah. Just hold on, scroll up a bit. I think I saw this one.
Overclocks. I assume, or overclocks.
Or overclocks. Yeah. Anyone knows?
The duality of dwarven kind. Unpopular opinion. OC grind ain't that bad. 400 hours in, and I have all weapon overclocks. Not that bad compared to some other games I've played. Part of the journey has been getting random overclocks along the way that I get to try out. People playing for something. Well, unfortunately, buddy, 400 hours is quite a long time. That's not that bad. That's not that bad.
Yeah, but he does bring up the point,
MMO.
right?
It's not.
But he does bring up the point that, like, since he didn't get all of them immediately, it gave him ample time to try out a bunch of things, which you wouldn't have normally. But there is an argument that trying out things can be used after you've gotten everything as well. But I don't know.
Yeah, actually, I think that sort of downplays it though a little bit. Where it's just like you want to use the thing that you just got more than you're going to want to use everything if you just get everything. It's like, suddenly I have to pick and choose. It's like, if you get like a crappy clean as one of your first overclocks, for like the stubby, you're still going to want to use it. If you've got everything, you're not going to choose that out of the lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously the other kind is someone. Man. And I think the issue with this is that both of those people are entirely reasonable. Like, to be honest with you, both of them are... I mean, I think the second one... I think both of them aren't in the right, but they're both reasonable, right? like, you can't point out either of them and say, fuck you, you have no idea what you're talking about, that's a terrible idea, go down a rat hole, right? And I think that's the issue, is because both sides aren't terrible. And obviously, I think you can tell that, the top guy was less popular, less upvotes. Actually, well, he's been up for less time, and he's still got upvotes. That's the thing. Is he's got a lot more comments. Fucking hell. But it's just it is an issue that the community is now like the devs, I imagine, right? The devs have been talking about this for like the whole fucking time. But once they pulled out the rug of the bug, now the community is fallen into the conversation that they have.
I don't know if the against side of the community really matters, because I haven't got the impression from any of the people on the against side that they would be annoyed if it came back. Right? It's not going to worsen their experience if it becomes a feature. So I kind of almost think their side isn't really... I think their points can be valid, right? But I don't think in reality, it doesn't make sense to base a decision around their existence.
That's the thing. Is I think as much as this is a bit of a broad statement, I think anyone that is defending the current system will defend any current system in the game because it by no means benefits them. Like as it mentions, most of the people talking about it and saying it's not that bad have already gone through it, right? It doesn't matter for them either way, right? It doesn't matter for them, and it's just there's no reason to defend the way it is unless you just fucking suck the cock of Ghost Ship, really.
But for Ghost Ship, when it comes to considering the community, it really only makes sense to me to base the decision. When it comes to basing the decision, the part of the decision that is based on the community, because they'll base it on the community somewhat. When they're in that part of things, it should be based on how strong a case the for side makes, not how good a case the against side makes. The against side should basically be ignored, but if the for side don't make a good enough case, that should also be relevant. It should just be based on how good the for side is at making their case, really, when it comes to looking at the community. I do think the people who are against, really, they're not worth considering when it comes to the decision that they make.
Especially since as far as right now, against is it right? Against is just fighting for the status quo. For is asking for a change to it, right? They're revolutionizing. They're trying to make a change.
You see this one?
No, it's all pixelated. I can't read it actually.
Really? He says, hear me out, every 1,000 gold mined equals a random core.
Now, I'm going to go on a limb and make it... Is that a joke? Is it satirical?
Just hear me out. Every 1,000 gold mined equals a random core. People argue that mining gold is pointless because it wastes time. Okay, I can see where it's just going. And it's more efficient to move on to the next mission. But the devs care a lot about gold and argue, are you even a dwarf if you don't mine it? Ostensibly, the dwarves in both management and the miners care about gold. Lastly, the core bug for promotions was just fixed and people are mad. Come on, lads, we can solve all these problems with one simple change.
1,000 gold. I mean, that's basically like every time you get a Crassier spots of gold, you'll get 3 fucking cores. Do you get that many gold? Or just one?
What?
You get 8 core. How much gold do you get from a Crassier spot of gold?
What is that? How much? Oh, you can get up to like 5,000.
Exactly.
Yeah. Pretty interesting, isn't it? Oh. What's that?
What is that?
This link is safe. It's McAfee telling me. Oh my god. Right, brilliant. Brilliant. Oh, someone's talking about... Is that about the beers? The leaf lovers dilemma? Yeah.
Yeah. Which is like a secondary issue, which I don't think exists. Fuck right off. Like it's because I think the whole argument is that Greenbeards will buy it, will buy a a round of leaf lovers, and then but you'd want to then buy a special beer, or some shit. But yeah, fucking hell, if you really care about oh no, now I'm gonna have to drink it all, that's not dwarven, all that shit. Just drink all of them. Drink all of the pots of gold. All fucking 4 cups or whatever pots of gold. Drink all them, and then drink as many fucking knockout stouts or blackout stouts. Just equal it out. Stop being a bitch. Stop thinking that magically teleporting a fucking leaf lover out of your hand is anything.
Yeah. I don't know. So I don't know where this guy is going to go with this, but he's at a higher level one. He's someone who's whipped his dick out. I get it. Everybody's upset about it. People are mad or disappointed about the bug being removed or fixed, however you look at it. The people who aren't mad, the people who aren't are mad or annoyed at the people who are mad or disappointed about it being fixed and not just enjoying the game. I get both sides. I have over 1,900 hours into DRG. All my characters are at max promotion. I've had all the weapon overclocks for years, all the cosmetic overclocks, all the seasonal rewards, all the cargo crate cosmetics, all the lost gear cosmetics, everything. I
And that
remember
was the
what
balls and scrotum too. Fucking hell.
I remember what the overclock grind used to be like. I would see people worship hipster as a scout main, and I'd be over in the corner with my super cooling chamber, like, but I use this and it's fun, I'd say, right before I get kicked. I remember what it was like to finally be able to say, I finally got special powder as a two-star gold scout, and have everybody else say, you're just now getting that? What a loser you are. Right, no one said that to you, by the way. Right.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't get into elite deep dives with the weapon overclocks I had. This isn't to come off as an old haggard greybeard saying, you greenbeards don't know how good you got it. Back in my day, you got double barrel and you liked it. Well, first of all, the greenbeards have it worse because of how much stuff there is in the game now. The dev team has spent years balancing out the overclocks and the... Okay, right, I remember this. This was the stupid guy. I remember now. The dev team has spent years balancing out the overclocks and weapons to where everything you get from weekly core hunt or deep dive is going to be able to be used effectively on the hardest activity this game will throw at you. Bullshit. You do not play Hazard 5 enough. I remember when scouts used to be the only ones able to solo elite deep dives because they had the ability to get objectives faster than anybody else. Well, that's interesting. Probably not wrong, actually. Now, there's people that solo them on all classes right as they get reset and post about it on the comments of the deep dive thread in the sub. Anything you get can be used in Hazard 5 reasonably well. Hazard 5 is not nearly the scary boogeyman it used to be. And if you're not sure about whatever overclock RNG decided to throw at you, there are some very good YouTubers that will have a guide for you. Repeatron is probably my recommended go-to guy.
That disqualifies him immediately. Really.
Yeah, believe me, I get the frustration. I recently started playing on a new save file from the beginning to see what the new player experience is like, and I'm currently solely focused on Gunner. The overclock I got from doing the deep dive last night, Bullet Hell, Leadstorm, Neurotoxin Payload maybe? Nope, it was Hipster. I've already been a scout main, I want to focus on Gunner. The devs hear you, they're on the subreddit, they're in the Discord, they've heard you. They know a lot of people have a problem with this. They've heard your proposals and are probably already considering something reasonable. That's it. RS.
I don't know what the point of this was.
I don't either. I just take issue with the fact that he thinks it's like perfectly balanced because plasma bursting missiles exists, and it's not just that. I mean, there's a lot of ones where not everyone who plays the game is immediately going to get how something's usable. They're not all that surface level good. They're just not. If the balance was absolutely perfect, he might have a point. But even then, I don't think that's obviously not people's issue either. I don't think. So
I don't know. He seems like a bit of a molder. I mean, the fact that he has quotation mark right, he has either made up those stories or remembers them vividly. Right? Either way, he's a bitch and moaner. Like you don't just remember that time where someone says don't use that overclock. Or it kicks you because you were using super cooling chamber. First of all, who the fuck does that? How do they know you were using super cooling chamber? Unless you did a shit ton of damage to one enemy, and then why would they kick you? Because you just did a shit ton of damage to one enemy. But that's not the point. But it's a weird.
This guy's name is Kentucky Fried Seaman.
Yeah, God knows.
And there's someone who's like has 5 isn't hard and be done without overclocks or weapon modifications. It was not really ever that. These people need to fuck off. They just need to fuck off because they're so objectively wrong. It's actually hilarious. It is the hardest difficulty in the game. Do you really think the devs want it to be possible without you using weapon mods? You don't have a place in this discussion. If you think Hazard 5 is that easy.
I mean, I wish there was a way of pulling up these people, and you just reply, prove it, and then they have to post themselves doing a fucking has 5 industrial sabotage with lethal enemies or whatever, or even just on its own has 5 industrial sabotage without any fucking overclocks, right, or mods. Go on, fucking do it then. If it's so easy, it's just yeah.
People just aren't going to be able to agree. And, but at the same time, I just think there is a solution that no one would be able to disagree with, though. That's the thing, As in, I think if we, that's why I made my point about how getting a blank on every promotion is, the reason it would work is because there's nothing wrong with it. It's a solution that could only be improved, really, I think.
Yeah.
It addresses it, but maybe not in full. But there's no downside to that solution in my head.
Yeah. The issue is that I agree entirely, but the issue they would have with it is because that will be it. That is them crossing the line that they made for themselves. That would be them crossing over and saying, "You're right. we need to change this mechanic. Like, it is them changing their ancient formulaic ways would be adding that addition, because as we mentioned, it's outdated. Having it be time locked is outdated. There is more to do in the game than just get overclocks. So getting them slightly quicker if you play a lot more, because bear in mind, that means like you would be able to get like 6 weapons from existing in like the fucking week. Technically, I guess another one, because 6 would get you the fat forge one, so 7. But then to get another one, you'd have to promote a dwarf, which, unless you play a good amount, won't just happen in a short amount of time, right? Like, unless you play only double XPs, I mean, realistically, yeah. If you play double XPs, played shit tons of hours, you could maybe promote twice a day, right? Regularly.
Actually,
if you play a lot double XPs, yeah, exactly. And yeah, you don't play efficiently by any means, do you?
Well, I do mainly just play double XPs, so I don't know.
I guess.
Do you mean the fact that I don't join people who are like far into their mission to get them done?
Yeah, if you join halfway through constantly double XPs, yeah, you could promote like 4 times a day. I think
it's obvious why I don't do that. It's because I don't find that fun. I have more fun just playing solo, doing full missions. So that's why I play. It's fun, but I've been able to create a good number of incentives. Anyway, I don't really know what the problem is. I don't think this actually boils down to anything. This thing I was about to say. Oh, this just boils down to. I don't think it does. I think we're just going to have to wait now.
It is a culmination of a lot of issues, and I feel like Ghost Ship really needs to be careful. Really needs to be careful, because what we forget, and I don't think we forget. Well, I'll just remind, just in case you do forget, Ghost Ship based a lot of. Of its business models. That's what we're talking about here. Its business model is being a company you're willing to invest in. So when they make mistakes like this, and when they get the community actively against them, that is going to harm them financially. And if they misplay their cards too many times, they could go under, I imagine. Ooh. Right? Like, if because that's the thing though, Deep Rock relies a lot on that, in that people buy Deep Rock because they hear good things from other people. The community is amazing, and the community and people in the community will recommend you stuff and all that stuff. If they stop doing that because the community starts disliking the devs because of the things they do, their sales will go down, the DLCs will go down, and they'll start struggling. But then
the problem is, the more like intense the outcry is, the more of a bending the knee it is, the more of a submission it is, rather than them actually agreeing. So
they can't just give everyone what they want.
Yeah.
So they need to play the cards right to where they don't pick a fight with their entire fan base. I do not envy
their current situation, and I think it's really, I guess, disappointing for me, for the community, that they've because I guess placing blame isn't really the right way to look at it.
Anniversary, though.
Placing blame isn't really the right way to look at it, because I think it's obviously the reason why this is a thing is because Ghost Ship patched it out, right? So realistically, it's their fault that this started. But I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. It was a bug. People like I don't. There was still people talking about it, right? But it wasn't like people actually had this level of an issue with it before the bug was a thing.
Yeah, it's just that
they just realized.
That's the issue.
But do you think there's actually any truth in how much of an issue it made them realize it is when the bug gets removed, or do you think it was never this intense?
Well, this is what I want about, though. I think if we don't see them make a change in the overclock grind with this event, I don't think we ever will.
The event.
Honestly, it has never been more integral for them as a company to figure this out. This is
like the Magna Carta. We're forcing the king to sign the Magna Carta or something.
Yeah, it's just
comparison. That's a real
if you know what that means.
This is a
moment. Remember that.
This will be a moment in Deep Rock history for certain, but it's still Deep Rock. But that is what we're talking about, so we're going to take it seriously.
And I feel like it's just I like we should start wrapping up now, but like it is real sad that they have sparked a lot of dislike towards them just before the anniversary. It is a real shit time to have the community be up in arms, and that's pretty rough. And I will state once again, like this has only recently started happening. Recently being seasons. Since seasons has been about the time where people have started getting actually angry at Ghost Ship, and this is another example of it. And I wouldn't argue Seasons isn't Seasons to blame. I wouldn't put it that. In fact, I would argue Seasons is going to be the solving cure from this crisis, because if they can realize that they can drop the hard overclock lock, because that's not the only reason people will be coming back every week. Once they realize that, they will be able to justify adding in a little bit more if you earn by playing a little bit more. Like, I think that that is at least that is Battle Vision's take on it. I think can we both agree on that? That because of Season Pass being part of the game, there is room for them to change how that system works, and I think that room will come in promotions. Because that's how the bug worked. Not to mention, I wonder if there will be a mod made that does that for them. I imagine something like that could occur. But yeah, thank you for watching. I think, unless you have anything more to say, Harry.
I would say we are. I guess we are on the side of for the idea of what the bug did. We are not. I don't know if we're actually on anyone's
as far
side.
As removing the bug,
I think we're on our side.
Yeah, as far as removing the bug, they should have done that. Shut the fuck up if you think they shouldn't have removed the bug from the game. Like, come on. But as far as bringing it back as a feature, sure.
I think it doesn't stop
Definitely.
there. It's a more nuanced issue than they just remove the bug and leave it as that, because you need to understand what the type of bug, what that bug was.
The bug alleviated one of the biggest issues people have with the game.
I'm currently looking at a barrel in a vat.
Why?
Because I've never seen that before.
Okay.
I don't know what it's doing there. I'm scared. Either way, this was essentially a podcast. In that it was long. It was technically long enough, but not by much.
Considering I was going into this thinking it would be like 10-20 minutes.
I don't know how you thought that would happen.
I don't know. I thought we were just going to
illusion you were under that we could somehow not talk about this for a long time.
I thought we were just going to talk about our opinion on it and then leave it at that. But I realized as we were talking that this is a very deep topic and that covers a lot of issues with the game and the development team behind it.
And I just want to point out, we are the reason I said I don't think we're on anyone's side is because. And at the same time, I think we are more on Ghost Ship's side than anyone else's, in the sense that I want them to come out of this well. I want them to come out of this on the community side. I want them to come out of this with a positive outcome, because it's a really. Yeah. I do not envy them. In fact, I actually do feel kind of sorry for them at the moment. They're in. I have absolutely no anger towards them whatsoever for this decision. It's actually quite the opposite. I actually have sympathy. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And I really hope they can make the right call. But the problem is,
they're already not, though. That's the issue. The fact they haven't come out with a public statement, they are already misplaying it.
And I can criticise them for that, I think. They should have been more transparent about this. The lack of acknowledgement of the significance of the change is slightly concerning.
The lack of loud acknowledgement. Because that's the thing. They have addressed it in the stream that no one watches. So they need to make it loud. They need to pin Reddit, pin Discord or whatever, like Discord like news, like just get it out there so anyone that is actively engages in the community can see immediately right there, they're working on it. Here's why we have or haven't. That's it. That's what they need to do right now. And then what they do after, that's for them to decide. But I think they definitely should get it out there that they hear us and they are looking at the pros and cons and then saying what those pros and cons are. That's literally, they have to do that like now. like before the anniversary. We're talking.
Definitely. If you want that to go well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Before the anniversary, get that out there, or else, the anniversary is going to be flooded with people being disappointed with them, asking them, interrogating them, like, "Hey, are you going to do that, right?" Like that's all the anniversary is going to end up being. Not to mention, like the days after the anniversary. Unless they're hoping that the anniversary will distract everyone, then that might be a play. But I feel like they're better people than that. So I doubt they'll play a fucking like president loaf of bread or like that kind of like scummy tactic like that.
This isn't politics, or at least this shouldn't be politics. And that's something that's a sort of, I guess, an element of blame that I lay on the community, is that you need to lay off of each other, I think, in general. I don't really know. I can't in good faith tell people to stop talking about this because I don't think that's right.
Hell yeah.
But Ghost Ship need to stop people from talking about this, and they need to do it in the right way.
They need to lay their minds at rest, right? Everyone, it's like we're on a fucking ship and it's sinking, and I was like, and all they have to say is like go on the intercom. It's like, no, don't worry about it. We bumped into a little rock, but it like didn't do anything. Just chill. Like just something like that, right? We're thinking we're in the fucking sinking Titanic. Like, oh god, everyone, we need to start punching each other and get on the fucking boats,
this is
right? To try and save ourselves.
It's one of those situations where there was a period, like shortly, I think it's actually before season 3, before they started teasing, where we were being fairly down in the game, and part of it was we made this claim that the silence was actually hurting them, and then it felt like nothing was going on in terms of development. Which was a sense that it didn't seem like anyone else got. That's what this is. That's what this is right now. Their silence is definitely hurting this situation, and I don't know if they're watching this. They could be. There's actually, I think there's a higher chance they're not. That someone will actually see this video at Ghost Ship.
Yeah.
And if you are watching, there is I guess it sounds very dramatic. But it's a fact that you need to say something, right? As in, for your game, because that's it's your job. The game is your job, and you should want to protect that. You are doing more harm by not saying anything, so it will help you to say something, and that is what you should do. There is no debate about whether or not you should say something.
Low-level damage control is literally what you say on stream. Just say it louder. Say it pinned on those things. Just say we're talking about it. Like that's it, right? High level, good development, good communication would be what you're talking about. Your pros, your cons, like what the situation kind of is. Like, is the majority in the pro side, or is it cons? Like, that kind of stuff. Stuff like that. Like maybe ask the community, like, what solutions do you think you can come up with? So maybe something we haven't tried, like in the comments below, and then the community might spark an idea that the team didn't think of one, like something like that. Just that would be ideal.
Also, try your best. Healthy. Try your best to not feel attacked as well, even though in some cases you are being attacked, right?
Yeah, I
think feeling that way though, or at least letting that feeling be take over development, will not help anyone.
What I think everyone needs to come to terms with. This is us. This is Ghost Ship. This is the community, for and against. Everyone wants the best for this game. Literally every single person wants this game to be the best it can be and succeed and to have fun playing it and stuff like that. Every single one of us. We all have different ideas on what that means, but we can all come to terms with that. And I think that is what you at Ghost Ship, if you are watching this, or us as a community who is definitely watching this, because I don't know who else would be, needs to come to terms with, that you shouldn't hit someone who believes the same thing you do. That this game deserves everything, and it doesn't deserve what is currently going on. The community tearing each other to pieces, the Ghost Ship hiding behind a veil, and with the anniversary in front of us, it's just going to be an embarrassing situation which will tarnish this game's name for the rest of the gaming sphere as a wide. Just as it's starting to pick up, we're trying to fucking kill it, and it's kind of ridiculous. But yeah. I don't know. It's a shame. It's a real big shame. And it all stemmed from them wanting to give us our toggles that we were asking for. Because I don't doubt that if we didn't want that and they didn't feel like adding that, or that wasn't a thing that needed to be adding, they wouldn't have added these patches now. They would
It
have
just
waited until
shows how
season
much
4.
easier it is to focus on the negative.
Yeah. But still, yeah, great Ghost Ship, great job on adding that toggle thing. So I very much look forward to that.
Sorry, actually, that's a good point, right? Because we need to acknowledge that because Axis Chronos didn't, and I think there's a problem in not acknowledging the good. They added a toggle for the supporter edition beer mugs, and I think that means
honestly,
the next
it's
one will
gonna
be
be a while. Well, it's gonna be. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It's been a while since I've seen a base Glyphid Slammer. Like I have not seen that fucking
do you remember what they look like?
Not at all, in no way, shape, or form.
I'm definitely going to switch that, but I mean, I'm probably going to just flip between the two. You know, I'm not going to be hard on either one. I really like the oily oaf mug as it is, but I like the new mug too. I get the feeling though I get the feeling I might revert to Glyphid Salmon more than I'll have it be supporter though. Yeah. Either way, that was a really good change. I guess that means does that mean the next one will be leaf lovers? Does that mean?
That's what I'm thinking, and or we might be looking at like a.
I mean, obviously, I know that the next supporter edition. Well, I know that will be for like the 10th anniversary. You know, so we'll have to see that even ever get that far. But still.
Honestly, it'd be cool if they leaned into the leaf lover element of it for that one though, and it's like a jungle kind of, or it's like nature has taken over, and like the leaf lover actually has like vines.
But they could also get away with doing Blackout Stout as well. I think.
They have more cups.
Yeah, Blackout Stout would be good. I often forget what Blackout Stout even looks like. Either way, that was this. Godspeed, Ghost Ship.
Literally, all we ask for is a comment openly, posted or pinned on Discord and Reddit. Just state your side.
No, sorry, I should point out, I don't know if I'm actually asking for that. I'm telling you that that's the best course of action. I'm not personally affected by this. We're just saying that this is what you need to do to help yourselves and everyone.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for anything. I'm also not demanding anything. I'm just telling you what the best thing to do is.
Yeah, because to be honest with you, we don't actually care that much, do you? I don't really care.
Well, we can't, really.
Yeah. But because this doesn't affect our experience of the game in any way, shape, or form.
I'm not forcing.
Exactly.
That's the thing. We're not forcing ourselves to care about the issue, because we inherently care about the game. Therefore, we're willing to talk about
and this issue is a threat to it.
Exactly. But we don't. I don't actually. I'm not personally affected by the issue. But I want to see the right decision made, and I want to see good outcomes for the game. So that's why it matters to us. But yeah, I think that is it for us. It's got to be right. So, obviously, leave your thoughts in the comments. We're probably going to come back to this at some point. As in, we'll come back to this if people leave some interesting comments. But I don't actually see when.
Or if Ghost Ship leaves an interesting comment on something.
If Ghost Ship does anything from now, in between now and the anniversary stream, we'll have to. And what's interesting to see if they. If they don't say anything in between now and the anniversary stream, I don't know what the best course for them to take is when it comes to talking about it on the anniversary stream.
The issue is
because I really don't want it to be tainted.
Yeah, but I think the issue is that they kind of, if they don't address it before, they might have to address it during, and there is a moment they can do that, right? Like there is a point in time where they're going to be talking about the past, present, and future of the game. How could they not mention this when they're talking about the present, right?
We'll see.
And if they don't, that will say a lot.
Well, we are going to be live streaming the live stream on the Wednesday, on Wednesday the 1st of March. At 1 a.m. GMT. 1 p.m. GMT. 2 p.m.
So
CET.
if you're gonna watch the stream anyway, but you wanna like watch it with someone, you can watch it with us. Because I think that's the point, right, of that kind of thing. So
So either way, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, you know what to do. If you don't, it's like and subscribe. AKA Rock and Stone, or is it Stone and Rock, or is it Core Hunt? I don't think it's Core Hunt. I don't think you know anything. What? Bitch.